take it back, take it back, take it back, take it back. Slide, 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 slide. You finna go live. Slide, you finna go live. Slide, you finna go live. Slide. I like you got some skate. Skates on, skates on, skate. I like you got on some 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 skate. Start butter jet, let's go. Pull off with you. Slide ding, ride ding, there ding. Moving with you, drop it with you. Time about the green light, let's go.
What's up? What's up? What's up, Kane Nation? Another beautiful Sunday afternoon, 6:30. Kane's Talk Live, episode 121. Let me know everything looks good, sounds good. Everybody's already in the chat, rocking and rolling. My beloved Heat don't play until tomorrow. I got that one right. So normal guy in the building says, hello, baby Shaq in the building. Wipe your feet off and hit that button on the way in. That's what I'm talking about. Hit that button on the way in. Champ 100 said, hey, that's automatic. It's already done. Appreciate it. Cuban Kane in the building. Talking about shout out to Coop for his first victory. Yeah, if you guys don't watch Coach Coop, go check out Coach Coop. He's got an exciting thing going on. Hopefully we can get it down on the sticks. I haven't played since forever. I think Donovan McNabb was on the cover of Madden last time I played that thing. And for college was Pat White was at West Virginia. So they're going to tell you how long Coach has played. So hopefully me and Coop can get it worked out. Maybe we'll get one of those games in, maybe on the bye week or something of the schedule. Who knows? But anyhow, long story short, shout out to Coop for winning against Texas A&M last night on the video game. I think he copped the L against Miami, Ohio, but he has redeemed himself in that thing, man. So welcome to everybody in the building. Big shout out. There you go, T. Hines. Welcome to the team. Again, if you'd like to join the team, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button. It's free, cost you absolutely nothing. Got so many comments in here. Paco in the building. Boy, Driscoll, you crazy. Boy, Drosky, excuse me. Man, if he would have lost, we would have had to remove Coach from his name. Y'all tough, boy. All right, tough. All right, we got it good. We got it in the building. What Ellen? There she go. I'm waiting on Ellen. There she is. Ellen in the building. T. Hines in the building. Baby Shaq in the building. Everybody. All right, we got a Notre Dame fan up here. Do me a favor and let the Irish get Justin Scott, Coach. No, you got to go get your own. Leave us alone, man. Leave us alone. And Daryl Page, act like you got on some skate. Coach got a new camera. No, I ain't got a new camera. Something look a little different? Talk to me. If it look different, let me know. If something look different, let me know. But anyway, let's get into this deal. Let's talk today. We got, as I always say, a lot to talk about, a little bit of time to do it, but Coach love to run over. Today, IMAX in the building. Brother Jay Blaze, the glue to the U, is in the building. All right, here we go. Victoria, where have you been? I haven't seen you in forever. There you go. I haven't watched live streams like forever. Well, you don't need to make that forever. Make it every Sunday at 6:30. Anyhow, let's get into this deal. Glad to see all my old faces, new faces, and newcomers. Josh Pate, I hope I'm saying his name right. I never get that right. I always jack it up, and I hate jacking up people's names because I like to give them that respect. But I thought he did an excellent interview with Coach Mario Cristobal. They did, I guess they call it a one-on-one session or whatever the case may be. And I thought it was about an hour long. I went through, I got my notes, I got all my stuff, I'm ready to rock and roll. And I really wanted to deconstruct or analyze this interview. There have been a lot of questions in regards to Coach Cristobal and what's going on and how we ended up 5-7 after all this hype, quote unquote, lack of a better term, the SEAL Team 6 of coaching was assembled. And a lot was disclosed in this interview. And some of the stuff you got to kind of peel back the onion a little bit, the layers of the onion. Oh, Tate. Okay. Pate. Josh Pate. All right. Thanks, champ. 100. So you have to peel back the layers of this onion and kind of, I guess maybe my niche in this whole YouTube community is to kind of bring things maybe from a coach's perspective and kind of pull back the curtain rather, and kind of talk about the back end of it. I thought Coach Cristobal did an excellent job in the interview, articulating his points, his visions, his philosophy, his scheme, all of that good stuff. I really did. I thought he did an excellent job. Um, but again, thank you, Juice, right there for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. There's no comment on there, so really nothing to place. But thank you, Juice, the Juice. I'm gonna change the name to Cane Juice. But anyhow, at the end of the day, all of that is great. And this is not a knock. I don't care if this was any coach across America. As a fan base, bat signaled out. I don't know what that means. Anyway, as a fan base, we want action. And we have to get action because at the end of the day, talking is talking. But action is action, right? And that's what it is. But I thought this interview was enlightening. I thought this interview told a lot about the program. You know, of course, being politically correct, nothing wrong with that at all. Coach Cristobal was very politically correct when he was talking about culture and talking about the difference between, of course, they left it nameless, but the previous staff, which was under Manny Diaz, and maybe even previous coaches to him, but his vision coming in as a head coach and former Miami Hurricane player, knowing the true difference between what it was to what it is. And I'm going to go through this. I'm going to talk about a lot of these things. A lot of these things, he actually, you know, some people say, Coach Hayes, you're a hater. Coach Hayes, you're a hater. Well, he actually validated a lot of the things I said through his answers to what Josh Pate said. So hopefully I'm saying his name right. All right. So through a lot of what Josh Pate said. And I take my hat off. The interview was awesome. I don't know if he's had an interview like that before. I think they've had some things, but this was very in-depth. And I thought Josh Pate didn't ask a lot of softball questions, you know, just the feel-good questions. He did ask him about what is it like going into, you know, you do all this, and you got a 5-7 record. He talked about, you know what, when you go 5-7, what does that mean? Do you let the noise in? Do you let the noise out? I thought it was very, very good. I won't be able to show the video, but I will play the audio because of copyright issues, right? And YouTube is really cracking down. They're sending out copyrights left and right. And I don't want to have my channel punished for 30 days, I guess the right way to say it. But anyhow, so 247, if you're out there listening, if you do get a copyright cross your email or your desk, go on and let this thing pass, man. Coach out here working, man. Trying to make it happen. So anyway, so Mario Cristobal is a grinder, as we all know. And I'm going to open up the phone lines. I've seen people already calling in. I've already had like 5 or 6 people calling in, and the number's not even up. But anyway, if you want to call and listen that way, that's fine, whatever. But it'll be a minute before I get to you. But anyway, back to Mario Cristobal is a grinder. We all know what that means. I've said that when he got hired, he's a grinder. And he's going to kind of explain that a little bit in this deal. And what that means is, it means that you can't cut any corners. So his famous saying is, how you do anything is how you do everything. All right. That's kind of vague, but people kind of know what it means. And so with that being said, he's going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to play some areas that I felt were important throughout the interview. All of it was really important. So after this, if you have not seen it, I saw Victoria say she has not seen it. If you have a chance to see it, if you have not had a chance to see it, go see it. It's an hour. Put it on. Put your earphones on. Go work out. Listen to it. Walk. Ride your bike. Whatever. Ride in the car. Whatever. Shad, what's happening? Coming in the class of 2023, Miami comes in. He's going to get to this piece, and I'm going to kind of analyze what he says about this. But he comes in with the 7th ranked class. The 7th ranked class in the class of 2023. All right. With 2 5-stars and 14 4-stars, with a total rank point system. This is all according to 247 Sports. 283.93 points. All right. So if I guess you add all those guys up together, that's what you come out with. But I want to open up with the very first part of his interview, where he's talking about culture and culture match with players. I'm going to play this segment. Some of them are very short. Some of them are a little longer, but I want you to kind of get the full context of what's going on in this deal. And I think it's very important because for the Kane fan base, it is going to tell a lot, and that's why I want to deconstruct it. So let me get into this deal. Let me know if you guys can hear this or not when it comes on, just with a quick thumbs up.
The extra time put in, you saw a couple guys shooting out the jugs machines earlier today. They're football junkies, and myself, our staff, I want to be around people where this is the thing. It is the priority, and so far so good.
You're talking about installing the right mindset. You inherit what you inherit when you take over a program. What percentage of the roster had the right mindset when you got here a year and a half, 2 years ago?
Well, it's hard to tell. It is a clash of cultures. I can say that. I love to grind. I do. I make no bones about it. I do. I like putting in hours, and I like being around people who like to put in time and effort and have intensity behind it. And our culture brings a lot of that. And I think we walked into a culture that was, it wasn't that. Okay. It's being honest, and at the same time, want to be respectful of anyone and anything that comes before you, because I believe that's important. It's just different. It's two different philosophies, and it's two different cultures. So that collision isn't a kind and cuddly one. That one's going to come with some pushback, but plenty of cooperation. It's going to come with attrition at some point in time. But the percentage that, that's hard. It's hard. It wasn't large, but it wasn't zero.
Enough. It was big enough.
It was enough to establish a core.
Right.
Let's just say that. A core that you can build off of, and at the same time, add some legitimate high-level talent and start building it and piecing it together the right way. Because you got to stack up the pieces in a way where you're still developing and you're not overstacking just talent.
I think a lot of folks would be just fascinated.
Okay. He talked about being a football junkie. He talked about he loves to grind. He has no woes about that. And I brought this up when he got hired. For you guys that know or maybe not know, I actually worked for Coach Mario Cristobal. He was at FIU his last year. And that is no lie. This guy is a grinder. He's going to say later on in this interview process that he likes to come in early at the crack of dawn and leave late. And I bring that up because in today's society, and I'm not saying this was good or bad thing, and big shout out to a good buddy, I'm going to leave him nameless, but we had a very in-depth conversation about this today. The grind. And he wants to be surrounded around people who embrace and enjoy the grind. Okay? I guess that's another way of saying the process, right? You always hear Nick Saban talk about you have to embrace the process. You have to, respect the process. And I have to say this. I'm not mad at Coach Cristobal's philosophy. That's his philosophy. He's the head coach. However, everybody can't take the grind. Yeah, you may have been coaching 15, 20 years, 30 years. You may have had a bunch of accolades and it worked for you, but you have to be able to take the grind. There were days we get in at the crack of dawn, like he said, and we leave out of there 11 o'clock at night. You leave out of there 11 o'clock at night. You there before the sun goes up, and you're almost leaving out of there before the sun comes back up again. It is what it is. And that's important. I wanted to play that because he's talking about the culture clash. He didn't want to bring up many deals, and I understand that. But he was saying it was different. He said we're going to have some attrition, right? Meaning people leave, and that's okay. That's part of it. Coaches as well. Don't get that misunderstood. Some coaches can't take that. Some coaches have been, for the past 20 years of their career, they come in kind of like punch a clock, right? They come in at 7, leave out 6, 7 o'clock at night during the season. Yeah, the hours are a little bit longer. But in the off season and end season, the hours pretty much the same, bro. And especially the way the early signing period is now when it comes to these players. Now, I ain't dusk to dawn. It's dawn to dawn, the juice. There we go. That's what I've been waiting on. William Merriweather. Coach, you seem not to really like Mario. How? I'm giving him praise. I don't understand how y'all figure I don't like. How? How? I am just enlightening you on what the process is. I'm telling you that there are coaches that don't like that. I'm not saying those coaches are right or wrong. Now, if I'm not just going to be like, oh my God, no, I'm not going to do that. But it has nothing to do with not liking Mario Cristobal. I hate the fact, and that really, I guess, kind of gets under my skin that if somebody spots out something or makes a constructive criticism, oh, I don't like. That's like somebody say on here, oh, coach, I don't like the way you do da 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 da. That doesn't mean they don't like Coach Hay. They just don't like that particular thing. Or they may be trying to find a way to say, hey, it could be better. Relax. Because they want you to do backflips and pump the Kool-Aid. No, we have to put in action. I believe personally, why I started this channel, why I started talking about Miami Hurricanes was to give the good, bad, and ugly of the program. The good, I'm going to praise it. The bad, I'll mention it. And the ugly, I'm going slap off. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. I don't care if I was a Miami fan, Ohio State fan, Clemson fan. If I was a UCF fan, Gus Malzahn will get it the same exact way. This has nothing to do with that. But anyway, let me push on. I appreciate you, William Merriweather. Said fair enough. Okay, cool. Let me get into this deal. So he's talking about that. He wants the football junkies, want guys to love it and grace the brine and so forth. I just know human beings in general, everybody that you hire on your staff is not going to have that same vision. They'll say that in an interview. Yes, coach, I'll embrace the grind and yeah. But there's a key component that comes to the grind, and it's family. Not the school family, your home, your house. So when the wife is complaining, baby, you're never home, the kids crying, that also takes a toll. These are the things that people don't think about when you think about the coaching profession. Think about this. You're in the office at 6:30. That means you left the house probably 6 o'clock that morning. You get home 10, 11 o'clock at night, kids are back to sleep. See, what people have to understand is there are some coaches, there are some people that value their job. They do. But they also value their baby's first steps. They also value going to a kid's recital. Now, this may be the wrong profession they're in. This may be the wrong profession. And if you value that more than you value this, then you need to probably change jobs. And you see a lot of coaches, they just disappear. And that's probably the main factor. I'm bringing that up just to let you know, this is why you see some coaches come and go. There are also coaches that choose to go to other programs because said head coach doesn't grind. He doesn't put in 18-hour days. He puts in 12-hour days. And that's okay too. It wins. It loses. There are coaches, we see it right here, that put in the grind. And you're still 5-7. That's okay. But you put in the grind and you also win the Rose Bowl. You also win the conference. You also win national championships. It is what it is. That's cool. I want to get to the next part. The state of the program. He talked about this. He said, I wanted to walk in when nobody was around. And this was important. Walking into that locker room and see how the locker room is kept. How you do anything is how you do everything. I've been to some college campuses, high schools. He said, ain't no coach putting in 18-hour days. Bro, I promise you, go work for Mario Cristobal, baby. I don't know what you're talking about, JD Kamara. I'm telling you, it's some guys putting in some legitimate hours, bro, in that office. I'm telling you, I promise you this. Hell, 6 to 6 is 12. You come in at 6:30 at night is 12. Add 6 more hours to it. What is that? 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night? 17 hours? It's some coaches putting in legitimate time. And the way recruiting is, it's a 7-day-a-week job. Think about this right now, the recruits came in, right? Friday, Saturday, leaving out here on Sunday. Bro, it's a grind. Look at that. Coach on the phone right now. That's right. But anyway, let me stick to my topic. I want to stay engaged, but I got to stay here. So anyway, he wants to walk into the locker room and he wants to see. It does tell a lot. The organization, the expectations of the previous coach. Some coaches don't see value in a clean locker room. Some coaches don't. They don't care if cuts got shoulder pads hanging off of this, cleats everywhere, old dirty pads. They don't see a value in it, but this guy does. Why does he see a value in it? He sees the value because you pay attention to detail. Let's go back to Ed Reed when he was talking about the Baltimore Ravens. You can go search that clip somewhere. Baltimore Ravens, he talked about keeping the locker room clean because now you're paying attention to detail. If you're that detail oriented, you'll do the same exact thing when it comes to plays and learning the playbook and play calls and noticing when a dude wipe his hands, he might get the football. When a dude fixes shoulder pads like this, he getting ready to block. Those are the minor details when it comes to football to help you pull off games. So I understand that. I'm with him as well. I love a clean locker room. Next here, he was talking about coming back home and coming back to the University of Miami and why he left Oregon. He left Oregon even after they built it up. I believe he said Willie Taggart, when they came in, they were a 4-8 team, I believe, coming back, getting that thing going, and then building it up to the fact that where they won a Rose Bowl, won the conferences, so forth and so on. But he came back to the U because he said he played there. He said, I got 11 plus zippers on my body. 11 plus zippers on my body. We're talking about stitches. We're talking about zippers for those that don't know. 11 plus zippers because of what he did. Let me try to get to the next portion of this where he's talking about that a little bit. And like I said, there's no video to this because I don't want to get copyright by YouTube because they be banging our head. But just listen to this piece.
Say a part that wasn't part of it. The part that wasn't part of it, it was that I'm from here.
Yeah.
The part that is really strongly ingrained in why and the reasons why I came back is I played here. I wore the U. I've got 11 plus, zippers on my body due to surgeries, having played at the University of Miami. The community completely embraced us, and we turned the entire mindset of the city, the community of South Florida, and then nationally. And so it was a game changer in my life. And so my full belief is that Miami done the right way is the best place in the planet.
All right. So he talked about that. He talked about Miami being done the right way is the best place in the planet. I've always said that. I don't believe that there is a higher job than the University of Miami if it's clicking on all cylinders. Why is that? Not because I'm a Miami fan. You are literally sitting, not in the backyard, you are in the middle of the mecca of recruiting. What better, let's be honest, besides maybe an Alabama who has the history, but these kids don't care about the history. Let's be honest. They don't care about the history of football. You are literally, just like we were back then, I hate to say back in the days, I'll play it later, but you are literally in the mecca of recruiting. Each and every coach across this country comes here to recruit from West Coast, East Coast, up north, down south to get the best players. And if you're the University of Miami and you are clicking on all cylinders, you can't tell me a better job out there. You can't. There's no other job. As I was talking to my friend earlier, University of Miami is the best job. It's clicking on all cylinders for Power 5. And Florida International University should be the best job for the group of 5 clicking on all cylinders. Think about what I just said. The University of Miami clicking on all cylinders as it used to be before. is the best job in the world because the lifeblood of football is recruiting, and you are literally in the Mecca. FIU for a group of 5 should be the best group of 5 job ever. Because everybody in Miami that are some ball players are not Power 5 players. Listen to what I just said. All of the top players here in South Florida, Orlando, Tampa, hell, Jacksonville. If we just did the top, think about this. There's the top 100 from Dade and Broward. Dade and Broward. And they went between the University of Miami and FIU. Tell me who can beat that. Nobody. There's no better job. There's no better job. Why? There's several reasons. Again, you're in the Mecca of recruiting. 2, location, location, location. 3, we invented swag, baby. We the one that threw the 4s up. We the one that came out the smoke. We are the trailblazers when it comes to college football. And I don't care what anybody says. Miami stays in the media's mouth because they know that. 247 does a whole block. What's my man over there on 3? Pical, excuse me. I'm sorry. God, I hate doing that. Everybody knows that. Let's be real. How many other 5 and 7 teams are getting the same media coverage we getting? How many other 5 and 7 programs are getting the same media coverage and consistent coverage as we're getting? On these national programs, the 247s, the on 3s, this, not Purdue. Didn't Purdue just win the division? We ain't beat North Carolina in 5 years. And I don't see them constantly talking about North Carolina. I don't see On 3 and Josh Pate and all these people constantly talking about those programs in schools. The U is the real deal. I don't want to keep going long. But anyway, I wanted to bring that up. The next piece coming on, and Colorado's getting it because of Deion Sanders. As Deion Sanders goes, so shall the cameras. Thank you to Coach, I think you can make an argument for SMU and Houston continuing FIU. No, you know why? I ain't thinking about FAU should be FIU fighting all the time. Because SMU got to come here to get them. I ain't gonna lie, I might be biased. I'll take a Florida kid over a Texas kid any day. Hope I don't lose a subscriber. But if I do, I understand. Y'all, okay. Anyway, real quick before I get into that, I got to give love. I want the thing to build up. Shout out right here to Alex Tabio, right there from Pioneer Mortgage Funding. He does anything doing with home financing. Check him out. You understand me? Homes are going down. Rates a little funny. Get your paperwork in order. He is a big Kane fan. Hit him up, 305-205-1697. First hometown buyer, VA loans. If you're entrepreneurs, go holler at him. If you don't have a boss and you the BOSS, in the words of Rick Ross, the biggest boss, and you cut checks, well, guess what? He got a program for you because, these banks and stuff, they want to see how you're getting paid. But he got aggressive programs for you. Check him out. All the information is in the description below. My man Alex Tabio from Pioneer Mortgage Funding is a G when it comes to financing our programs. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you, Alex Tabio, for all your support through these years, brother. All right, here we go. Back to it. Let's talk about staff. There were a lot of criticism, including Coach Hayes, about staff. And I'm going to play this part. Because I want you to hear. He's talking about when he left Oregon and he came to Miami and the problems that existed. So let's talk about this. Let's get into it.
So that's why we're back, and back after having the experience at Oregon, having the experience at Alabama, at Rutgers, at FIU, all those places. So when you come in, you want to bring in people. A lot of your staff members all of a sudden got a head job or got coordinator opportunities. Even GAs and analysts became position coaches. So you've taken 4 or 5 years to assemble a really strong team, and all of a sudden, it's gone.
Right.
But then you've got 4 days before the first signing day, but you have no staff members in the house, and you got to say hello to your new team, and you got to figure out what's got to stay, what's got to go, and you got to figure out current staff members. There's no handbook, and no one should feel bad for anybody having to do that, right? You know, we're compensated for doing that.
Yeah, they don't feel bad for it.
And they shouldn't. It's just that your multitasking skills are going to be put to the test.
Very important right here what he said. You take you 5 years to build up a cohesive staff at Oregon. You decide to take the job at Miami. I forget his coordinator's name, but ends up going to Akron, become the head coach, the offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. GAs now go on with that offensive coordinator, who is now the head coach at Akron, to become position coaches. This is all part of the game. Okay? This is all part of the game. Where I was critical, I'm going to go back and say what I said. Appreciate 250 people in the building. I was critical because I said it took us too long to create a staff. As being in this game as long as he has, and I'll just be very honest, this is my opinion. This is not hate, this is constructive criticism. Knowing how important staffing is. Yes, you may want to bring some guys from Oregon, or maybe guys that you worked with previously at Alabama, or guys maybe you worked with previously at FIU, or guys you worked with previously at Rutgers under Greg Schiano. You got to let your fingers start doing the walking, bro. We got to get those staffs together quickly. I.e., here's an example. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's just my opinion. I look at a guy like Dan Lanning, who was the defensive coordinator at Georgia. He goes to Georgia, mind you, he was still playing for a national championship. Still playing for a national championship as a defensive coordinator, not playing, but coaching for a national championship as a coordinator. And when he gets there, he has his staff pretty much intact, the core pieces, within a week. But he didn't start when he got the job at Oregon. You start that when I'm in the process. Right? You start that when I'm in the process. I'm not saying that's not what he did. I'm just talking. Coach Hayes is just talking. If you know you're leaving Oregon, of course, he knows way before we do. Everybody think they're inside. He can't get no more inside than the old man. But if you know you're leaving, you got to start making those phone calls. Here's back to what I'm telling you. I'll just make a comparison. At the time in which, let's say, Kevin Steele, for example, Kevin Steele was sitting on the couch, for lack of a better term, prior to Mario Cristobal getting a job. He still was sitting on the couch when Mario Cristobal got the job in December. He got the job at Maryland 2 weeks prior to him taking the job at Miami. I know there were other names in the runnings. I know there was the Kendall Browse on offense and all of those type of things. I'm just talking about assembling a staff. Even though, and to Coach Cristobal's credit, bar none, he is probably the best recruiter out there. I've seen those recruiting conversations. I've seen him get to work. I've had conversations where he recruited our players. He good now. He tough. He can go. I remember we used to have FCA meetings, Fellowship Christian Athlete meetings at the church downtown in Miami. I forget the name of the big church down there, where all of the schools come with their jerseys on it. He was one of the keynote speakers there. I was ready to sign up. So he can go. But like he just said, your multitasking gets put to the test. I'm just bringing it up because he was talking about assembling the staff. Next, they ask him about, can Miami ever get on top again? And when I say on top, I ain't talking about a 10-2 team here. I'm talking about natty teams. I'm talking about, I guess I'm going to be crazy here, but winning the natty every year. But at least within a 10-year period, you copping off 4 or 5. That's on top. Maybe 3, 4. You get where I'm coming from. That's important to me. I'm going to say this, and it's not going to be a popular opinion, and y'all going to say, Coach Hayes, you're a hater. Well, I'm a hater then. It's going to be hard for Miami to get on top, and I know y'all going to go against this, but watch, just follow your boy. It's going to be hard for Miami to get back to that natty status because remember, it's 2 separate worlds here. What we used to be in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s is way different than now. It's going to be hard for Miami to get on top because of brass, the upper brass, the top people. Yes, we put $100 million in there. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, Coach, but we're a private school. Get it. I understand. But the question is, will Miami get on top? $100 million. I want you to understand. Most of us who watch this show somewhere between the ages of 25, 30 to about 55 plus. We know what $100 million used to be. But $100 million today is not big money when you're talking corporations. And my University of Miami, this is a corporation. They are literally selling, I want to make this comparison. In the city of Miami right now, they selling houses in the hood that's featured on First 48 for $500,000. $500,000. Let me get a thumbs up if that's an amen. If y'all in the real estate market and you look at that kind of stuff. Houses in the hood are going for $300,000 to $500,000. So that $100 million is easily eaten up quickly. It don't take long. It doesn't take long to eat up $100 million, y'all. Think about this. 10% of that $100 million, I'm about to blow your mind here. 10% of that $100 million is already eaten up in staff salary. He almost ate it up himself at $8 million a year. Because 10% of 100 is 10 million. 10% of 100 is 10 million. He's at 8. He's at 8. Thank you, Johnny Law. So y'all don't know Coach on that BS. Houses in Opelika going for $500 across the street from St. Thomas. And he ain't talking about $500. So 10% of that $100 million is already eaten up in salary. We got buildings going up. Do you know $1 million house is nothing anymore? I hate to say that. I really hate to say that. Back in the day, $1 million house was a mansion. $1 million house today gets you a 4-bedroom, 3 baths. I'm talking about in the city of Miami, South Florida, Broward County, so forth and so on. I want people to understand when you put money into relative terms. $100 million is a lot of money to us. But when it comes to corporations, peanuts. Peanuts. Can I tell y'all something, a little secret? I know some people that own some Planet Fitness franchises. I might be wrong, but I want to say they put around about $100 million in just advertising for people to ride bicycles? $100 million just in advertising for a corporation. $100 million just for commercials and ads and social media posts and all that for Planet Fitness. So people could get on the bicycle. I just wanted to make sure I went through that. So people have to understand that that $100 million is a beautiful and great gesture from the upper brass. But it's one of those things where don't pee on my foot and tell me it's raining. It's a great start. It's a great start. But you got to be willing to invest more and more and more. Here's a prime example. Northwestern, I brought this up on the show. The university, Northwestern University, the Wildcats up there in Chicago, put in an $800 million stadium to make it smaller. Only to hold 35,000. They put an $800 million stadium in just to make it smaller at 35,000 seats. So I want to make sure y'all clear on that. That's important. So shout out to Kirk Herbstreit, who was a spark to create this fire under Miami and invest in money and so forth and so on. But $100 million ain't enough, baby. You got people putting $78 million just into a locker room. To a locker room. But the excuse is, let's go back. Well, Coach, Miami is a private school. Cool. But the question was, as Josh Pate says, will Miami be back on top? Consistently? I don't know, unless the top head folks are willing to invest significant dollars into that program. Let me go to my next section, because this leads me into where he talks about his contract agreement. He's talking about his contract agreement, what caused him to come to the University of Miami. All the things that he required in order to leave Oregon to come in. Let's flip it. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Let me get a thumbs up if you are.
The fact that I've had the opportunity to be away for 25 years, different stops, all of them rebuilds. One already was established well enough where that's not a rebuild, but sustaining a program at that level still is a great lesson. It's like getting a PhD in some of this stuff. It's really important to know that this is all about taking Miami into the future. That's why the contract was laid out the way it was. That's why into that we tied a facility that's going to be second to none, which has been missing for a long time.
Right.
I mean, this was, as much as I wanted to come back, I could not from a business standpoint until it was obvious and factual that Miami was really serious about heading into this decade at the level that everybody else is in the country, the top level teams. And every single budget line, everything is itemized to the T for the long haul, that's the way it's going to be. And that's the only way it can be and should be. So all those things combined, plus the area, you feel the vibe in the city, you feel the vibe within the building. We don't BS each other in here. I don't BS this football team or our coaches. I'm an offensive lineman, man. I mean, I was born and raised to be a worker and do things a certain way, and we don't believe in BS. And in terms of any noise that there might be, I don't know, and I don't think our team, our players, the people that we bring into the building, I don't think they'll ever care. Whoever does has got to go. I'm talking about here or anywhere else. I don't live in that world. I live in that world where you saw, where we're up at the crack of dawn, beyond that, and stay till late at night. That's the world that we live in. That's the only world we're going to stay in. It's a great group of guys. It's a great, I would say, foundation plus one of what this place is to be. And when you sign the top class in your program's history, and you're trending to do it again and top that one, well, now it starts looking like the teams that have really dominated college football for the past several years.
The mentality.
A lot was said right there. I'm going to go back at the very end. You heard him say, we here from the crack of dawn to late at night. I talked about that. I'm done with it. He said from a business standpoint, it wouldn't make sense unless I knew that Miami was willing to do it and for the long haul. We know the initial $100 million. Great. That's a great starting point. I'm all for it. But I'm challenging Miami got to do it again and again and again. Long as they're continuing to invest and not say, well, dog, man, I just gave y'all $100 million. It's like eating. You eat 3 times a day, right? You can't say, well, dog, I fed you yesterday. I can't give you my best unless you feed me again today. And I can't give you my best tomorrow unless you feed me again tomorrow. You got to feed the beast. You got to be able to do that. See, putting together those classes, because he goes talk about putting together those top classes, is beautiful. It's exciting. It's awesome. It's great. But we back to the word. Shout out to JT and the Poison Clan. Action, baby. We can have all those great classes. We saw Randy Shannon. I heard him say the best class ever. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Randy Shannon had the #1 recruiting class of all time for Miami. Maybe I'm wrong with the Ja'Cory Harris and the 7 from Northwestern and so forth. But anyhow, that's neither here nor there. But these are the things I'm saying, guys and ladies. It comes down to action. He talked about the business. Everything is budget. Everything is itemized. That's paying attention to detail. That's making sure your cleats are put up in your locker properly. That's making sure there's no trash on the locker room floor. That's buttoning up the business. And that's why I think Mario Cristobal is very smart, understanding how to button up business, make sure things are where they're supposed to be. Everything is to the minute, to the second, to the hour. And he's very big on that. Very big on that. Let's talk about recruiting. I want to get into this part of recruiting. I see I got some callers in here. You can actually call back if you like. If you want to hang tight, you're more than welcome. Here, Mario Cristobal is talking about recruiting. This is his forte. I thought this is great. And they're going to get into players, and I'm going to stop and break some things down, and I'll get back to it.
The indoor and some other pieces. It is a monstrosity of a project, and it's I'm looking forward to it. We could, you got a crew here, man. We could start knocking down some things and moving a tractor over if we can.
Well, I mean, you open the building, and this is what we bring in here. We appreciate it. So there's a word that you like to use a lot, and the word is creature. Creature. And maybe when you came here, there were some creatures in the building, not nearly as many as you would have wanted. Mm-hmm. I've been down here about 72 hours by the time this airs, and I've seen some high school creatures walk through the building. And without mentioning specifics, obviously, but sticking to generalities, I know that you got big weekends coming up. And this time of year now, it just used to be vacation time. Right. And now it's like the heart of recruiting season because the way the calendar's changed. Everybody says they take recruiting seriously. I don't think, I mean, I've been around the Georgias, the Bamas, and you've been around the Bama program. You did it at Oregon. It looks like it's happening again here. I mean, how razor sharp is the focus day to day on recruiting and talent acquisition?
It is. It's part of, it's a way of life at this time of year. And it really is, it's an everyday thing. I had one head coach say, it's like brushing your teeth and combing your hair. If you don't do it every day, you ain't gonna look very good. You've got to do it all the time. So, but I've had good mentors as it relates to recruiting, and I just believe in it. I really want to know and get to know the people that are going to be on this team inside that locker room. But you also got to combine it with player development and your own locker room. And we do. We split up the day where we're spending time with our guys, we're spending time on scheme, we're spending time on upcoming opponents, and we're spending time on recruiting. Just the days are a little bit longer in the summer than they used to be. And there's the weekends you're working. There is no, hey, Friday comes around and there's some time off. You've got official visits, you've got unofficial visits, and everyone's fighting for these visits. So whenever you can get the guys on campus, you want to get them there and make sure you're available.
This whole thing.
Guys, I just said that. I just talked about that. There are no more 5 days a week. Ain't no Friday. Hey, honey, we're going up the Smoky Mountains and enjoy and go on a hike. These players are coming on official visits, unofficial visits. Even in the summer, the 7-on-7s are rolling around. You got people here doing bus tours like my man AG and Lowwood and all these guys that's taking bus loads of kids to camps and to summer visits. You have to be on campus. This is why I say it's a nonstop grind. And he talked about that recruiting piece. He talked about, you heard what I said when it comes to a day. We talk about install, scheme, and all that, and recruiting. The days are longer in the summer. This ain't what it used to be. This is a total different animal. I'm trying to tell y'all, I think this guy has, I believe, I can't say think. I know he has the right mindset. He has to find the right people that believe, not in the interview. Like, I can tell you right now, Alex Mirabal is 10,000 toes down for Mario Cristobal because that's his dog. You understand? He believes in it. Those are the type of things I'm saying that when it comes to this recruiting, getting guys on campus, getting them to see the facilities, get them to do these type of things, and let's not get it misunderstood. Some of you guys and ladies are so enamored with Miami, you don't venture out beyond Miami. Do me a favor. Go to some of these other schools, campuses, online, and just look. They got virtual tour. See, sometimes as a fan base, we don't care about nobody else's fan base. Well, guess what? If you don't watch film of the enemy, how do you know how to defeat them? Right? If Mario Cristobal and his staff go out there right now and never watch film on Texas A&M, never watch film on Clemson, never watch film on North Carolina State, never watch film on North Carolina, and they get their butt whipped, and he comes in the press conference and says, no, we don't watch film. Watch film for what? We're going to do what we do. You would say, guess what? He has a loser's mentality. Well, as a fan base, I challenge you, get on your computer, laptop, iPad, iPhone, my phone, Android, whatever. Go to these universities and look at what they have in store. It is an arms race when it comes to facilities for these players. Back to them talking about money. You're a 17-year-old kid. Forget the barbershop. I don't care about no barbershop that's cool. Go to some of these facilities, and if you look at theirs and you look at ours, you'll still see where there's so much work to be done. And it's being done. Let's not get it misunderstood. It's being done. But I'm just talking about the arms race of facilities is so far behind that you got to remember, as we catch up, those people are not stopping either. I think we just saw LSU put in $170-something million locker room. They already talking about adding another $40 million to it. So it's one of those races where, okay, they're here, we're here. Yeah, we made $100 million investment. Cool. But they're not going to stay there. All right, we're going to add 40. All right, we add another 50 million. They're going to add another 60 million. The race is out of control. And that's why I went back to what I said about the only way Miami gets on top, not due to the lack of effort from Mario Cristobal, his staff, and whoever comes in there, but the upward brass has to be involved too. And when I say upward brass, I'm not talking about just the shot callers, the Radakovich and the president. I'm talking about the people in the marketing department have to give a doggone. The people in ticket sales have to care. All of that stuff matters. All of that stuff matters. All of that stuff is why teams win, believe it or not. And another piece, believe this or not, Miami, the University of Miami, the school has to find a better way to incorporate the community, because the community is the fan base, not the students. We don't have, bro, Ohio State got 60,000 students, bro. You do that over the years, how many alumni do they have? Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. We got 10,000, 15,000 students. It takes us 5-6 years of graduating people just to meet one of their classes. Like, does this make sense? I hope this is all making sense. We have to combat, yes, the beauty of the location is also stuff to do. So when you're not winning, I'm not finna pay you $150 to sit in the nosebleeds of Hard Rock Stadium. I could go to the beach for free. Unlike, let's say, maybe Gainesville or Tallahassee, that's the only thing smoking in town. But if you get the community involved, and I'm not talking Mario Cristobal. Shout out to my dog. He straightened me. I was putting it on Cristobal, but it ain't Cristobal. It's the university. The university has to do a better job involving the community, because the community is probably 95% of your ticket sales, 95% of your attendance. I might be wrong, but I ain't too far off. I promise you. I promise you. I'm going to go back and talk about this. The university has to find a way to big up. Shout out to my brethren out there. They got to big up all of the players. It's nowhere in the world Cam Kitchens is an All-American and he got a raft. He got a thing in the indoor practice facility. Great. It's supposed to be there. But how many of the community is going to see that? How many even the students going to see the indoor practice facility? Only people going to see that is what? The student athletes that go there, who probably use that, and kids that come there for camp. We got to embrace the community. Part of this contract agreement. We got to find the University of Miami. Bro, there is nothing around Hard Rock Stadium that says University of Miami or down 27th Avenue or anything else. Flo, what's up with you, baby? There's nothing around within the city that bigs up the university, baby. I'm asking you to embrace the culture. And I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe you're still within your right. The university is in the same city. Why can't you advertise? And again, marketing people, let me know. Why can't you advertise your guys? And I'm not talking just football. I don't even see you health stuff up out there. I might be wrong. But Miami is like sitting inside of a shell in Coral Gables. They don't want to expand. But yet, 95% of your fan base didn't even go to the University of Miami. We just fans because you're from the crib and we throwing up to you. And we are here to celebrate the players from the crib that are playing at the U. Let me go back and say that one more time. 95% of the fan base for the University of Miami do not have a degree from the University of Miami, let alone even attended a class at the University of Miami. Probably don't even know how to get to Green Tree Field. And we're celebrating, or we are supporting the neighborhood heroes. The Cam Kitchens, the James Williams, the Leonard Taylors, the Ray Josephs, the Brashard Smiths, the Xavier Restrepos, the Duke Johnsons, the Andre Johnsons. Think about what I'm telling you. All of those kids that come out of the Mecca of recruiting, where do we celebrate them at? The Eric Flowers from Norland. I can go on and on and on and on and on. I'm going to give you a big one for free, marketing team. Hope y'all watching. I'm going to move on. I said this on a previous show. Coach ain't going to even charge you for this one. Instead of taking that police escort, coming up the Palmetto on the side, coming around the Big Bend, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Bring that thing straight up 27th Avenue. Wrap them buses, police escort, straight down the gut of 27th Avenue, which is the main vein of Miami. 27th Avenue, get a straight shot, take you straight to the stadium. You got a police escort. You ain't got to stop at one red light. But guess what you've done? Look how many communities you've touched. Look how many communities you touch. You're going to ride through Coral Gables. You're going to ride right there past Jackson, up 27th Avenue. You're going to come straight through Liberty City. You're going to go through Opelika and Carroll City. And they boys see that you coming through, them buses, woo, 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 woo. The police, everybody pull over, throwing up the U. I'm getting chill bumps. You let me drive the bus, Kenner. That thing might stop over there at the Rolex on 27. Hold on, coach got to go in there and get some chicken wings. I'm just saying, embrace the community, y'all. Embrace the community. It don't cost you nothing different. Maybe 7 minutes of travel time. Go straight down the gut. 27th Avenue, baby. I see you, Flo. I might bust off and go in the office too. Coach got to make 2 stops. Get chicken wings from the office. Chicken wings from the Lex. Some lemon pepper chicken breast from the office. Huh? Talk to me. That's how I'm looking at this deal. I want to get into now. They sat down, coach fired up. We can get some comforters too. Imagine that going down 27th Avenue. And guess where else you pass on 27th Avenue? The Mecca of high school football. Traz Powell Stadium. Let people know Miami ain't just South Beach. That crap out of here. As Ross said, we're on the other side of the bridge. Anyway, let me push this on. So they talked about Mario Cristobal in there. Now we talk about keeping our players at home. Imagine that, boy. You a player here. You a player. Let me get to the point. Hold on. Let me see the timestamp. Imagine being a player in Miami and you see that bus roll through, all four, 5 buses with that U on it coming through. Come on, dog. Get stank. Loving it. Mario Cristobal also talking about, Josh Pate talks about losing players, keeping players at home and so forth. I'll let you guys listen to this.
The teams that are dominating the playoff, and they all come down here and get a ton of talent because the in-state schools, and Miami's been included, had not been keeping them at home. So from my math, and it could be a little shoddy, but from my math, you just keep your guys home, not all of them. You don't even have to get all of them. You keep more guys home, and all of a sudden, you landing one of them is also Ohio State not landing one of them. That's right. And it's really crazy what over the course of 2 or 3 cycles that can do for parity and competitive balance in college football. That's not even a question, by the way. I'm just tossing a statement your way.
I think you're spot on. I mean, Ruben Bain coming to Miami is a big deal. You know, he would not have been here 2 cycles ago, is my unprofessional opinion. You know, Ray Joseph. Ray was committed somewhere else within the conference, you know, before the staff arrived and just went at it hard because he's a dynamic football player. Nigel Kelly is like that. Damari Brown, right up the road. He was headed, you know, towards some other schools, maybe in another conference. Mark Fletcher, you know, you saw him today. I mean, these are Wesley Bassane. I mean, I could go on and on. These guys they're game changers. And like you mentioned, if you recruit the right guys, right, it helps you build a program, you have success. If you miss on that right guy, well, you better recruit a guy that's able to diffuse him when you play that team. If you
real quick, listen to what he's about to say. This is huge. If you miss on that guy, you better find another dude that can diffuse him when he plays. So basically what he's saying is if they get a +1, you better find one to average him out. This is huge what he's about to say.
recruit the wrong guy, that guy beats you every single day, not just once a year. So it's recruit the.
Say that again.
Well, you better recruit a guy that's able to diffuse him when you play that team. If you recruit the wrong guy, that guy beats you every single day, not just once a year. So it's about still getting the right guys. Like we had a study and looking at the national championship teams here, and some were just South Florida laden. They really were. And then you looked at the 2001 team and you realize, the left tackle was from New Jersey and the left guard was from Pennsylvania and the center from, he's going to claim he's from Canada, but he's right there. He's outside of Canada. He's over in Detroit. And the right guard was from Iran and the quarterback was from California. And all of a sudden that team was built differently, but it was the right guys, because it's like once they got here, they became part of the culture. So there's a little bit of give and take there. And as much as anything else as making sure you keep local talent home, it's got to be the right local talent. And when you go outside, you better get the right talent as well. You got to have the right people that have the right mindset, because if not, that can hurt you more than anything. That can hurt you more than missing on a good player.
We sat down with Shannon Dawson for like an.
Coach Cristobal said a mouthful, and I will say this. I agree with everything he says. Taz, Haitian Kane, appreciate you for the $2. Thank you. Y'all hit the button. It's free. Coach Cristobal literally just said a mouthful. He said, if you miss on one of those big players, you better go find another one that can basically equalize him if you're going to play that team. But if you miss on a guy, basically get a bad character dude, he ain't going to beat you just when you play the other team. He going to beat you every day because he's now destroying your locker room. He is now destroying the locker room. That's huge right there. That is huge. And so I understand being methodical when it comes to recruiting from Coach Cristobal. And sometimes we don't get the right guys. I'm sorry, we don't get the big star guys that we all want. Maybe that dude can't handle the grind, even though he's a good player in high school, because we see plenty of good players in high school dwindle away, i.e., not to take a knock at the guy, but I'm just using it because the first thing came to my mind. Damn, I just lost his mind. The quarterback from LSU, big time, Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell had all the tools in the world, but didn't want to grind, dog. So sometimes you got to pass on a Jamarcus Russell. I'm not saying when he was in college. I'm just talking. Just trying to use an example. Make an illustration, some imagery here. There are some guys for us on the outside looking in who don't vet these guys and take the deep dive. Even myself, I'm ranking guys on what I see on film. I don't have character stars. I don't have grind stars. I'm not calling their head coach. I'm not talking to their teacher to find out how many times they come to class. I'm not looking at transcripts. That's why he get compensated. He just said that. He gets $8 million a year. His staff get paid buku of dollars to vet the right guys. But if you bring the wrong one in, and that's why the transfer portal is dangerous. That's why the transfer portal is dangerous. You got to be careful in the transfer portal, because one man, as for lack of a better term in the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. But that treasure may come with some funk with it, if you know what I'm saying. It's a lot of guys out there. It's a lot of evaluation that has to be done. There's a lot. And if you don't do that, if you don't evaluate it properly, you can literally set your program back. Let's say, maybe Texas A&M. Number 1 recruiting class ever of all time. And you got players smoking weed in the locker room. Them dudes ain't even go out back and fire up the funk. Them boys say, man, I'm finna sit in my locker and hit this. What? Think about what I just said. Texas A&M, the number 1 recruiting class of all time, the GOATs, greatest of all time recruiting class. And it's dudes on that roster smoking the sweet chiba, the ganja in the locker room, dog. In the locker room. In the locker room. That's pure disregard for authority, bro. Bruh. Anyway, that's what he was talking about, keeping the right players. And he brought up the Miami player that we always talk about, the Hurricane players. And we talk about, winning our backyard, which is true. And I always felt Miami had to go outside at that time, had to go outside to get quarterbacks, right? We always look at our quarterback. Typically at that time, California was big for quarterbacks, so always went out there. But yeah, I get what he did right there. He tried to say that we don't have to kind of keep all our guys in-house. We can keep guys all over. And I get that. But we still in the Mecca, dog. We still in the Mecca of recruiting. We still in the Mecca. Now, there's some good players all over. Don't get me wrong. There's no more such thing as regional recruits. Everybody's a national recruit because of the internet. I'm not going to go down that road. But trust me. He knows, when I mean he, I'm talking about Mario Cristobal. He knows that you're not going to be able to win all these players, but maybe I can go into Texas and snatch a guy who maybe Texas kind of overlooked or whatever the case may be. But that's that. Let's get into this. We talked about, I'm going to open up the phone line here in a little bit. I'm almost done. Shannon Dawson coming in with the offense, quote unquote, air raid from Houston. And everybody was shocked and kind of like, hey, wait a minute. How is Shannon Dawson air raid and Mario Cristobal philosophy is pound the ball, push them back. We got to grind, those type of things. How does that work? Is this another problem? Is this another coach? Because we thought we were getting the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Which was Josh Gaddis was run heavy, right? Power spread, as they called it. And then we go with Shannon Dawson, air raid guy. Everybody did shows on. He's an air raid guy, air raid, the air raid offense, air raid, air raid, air raid. Air raid, air raid. Throw the ball around the yard. Well, it's going to be interesting to find out what we hear here next. And Josh Pate was going to ask him about that. He's going to talk about that. I thought he did a great job asking these questions, right? Not really shying off. He ain't grinding too hard. And again, a lot of people could just be talking. A lot of this sounds good. A lot of this sounds good, right? It's an interview. We got to wait till we get that action. I don't need no apologies. I want action. Let's play this piece right here when it comes to running the ball. I'm sorry, when it comes to air raid and Mario Cristobal's philosophy with Shannon Dawson.
Air raid. And I asked him, hey, coming out of spring, what stands out to you the most? And he said, I think we're going to be able to.
Let me go back. I'm sorry.
Really important. But what's funny is Shannon Dawson comes in from Houston and everyone thinks air raid. And I asked him, hey, coming out of spring, what stands out to you the most? And he said, I think we're going to be able to run the ball a whole lot better. And that's not the sentence that you would expect to come out of an air raid guy's mouth. But then again, he also said, I mean, what does air raid mean? really, what does it mean? You're talking about spread offense. What does spread offense really mean? There's so many different concepts to go into it, but to win at the point of attack and to be able to run the ball, when you think about the Mario Cristobal football philosophy, what does the ideal offense look like? Aside from scoring more points than the other team, how do you go about doing it?
You got to play with speed and power, and you got to be efficient. You got to be able to control the line of scrimmage, go through people, around people, over the top of people. You got to be able to go fast when it's time to go fast. You got to be able to slow it down when it's time to slow it down. But you've got to be able to take control of the game, and it starts up front. Then you really have to assess your talent, which I think Coach Dawson and the offensive staff did a great job of doing, to see what can you really do well, to be adaptable enough to know that every year's team is going to be different, and find out what they can do so you could practice that, get good at it, and then complement it with all your other stuff. You know, he might come from the air raid tree, but he is a very, very diverse play caller. His menu is very extensive. He has done what a lot of the air raid guys have done. They've gone around and they have taken in certain parts of the run game at different spots, and he does it and calls it and formations it extremely, extremely well. He understands backfield sets. He understands formations, the boundary as opposed to the field, how to affect, support players, the back end, and how to help the quarterback in the RPO world. I mean, he's an absolute stud. And what he does fits us really well because he understands that we're always going to recruit some really big, powerful offensive linemen. We're always going to have a strong running game. We have a talented quarterback and some talented young guys, and we're starting to get some legitimate speed outside. He's going to combine them all. He did that. Our guys love him because he's a great person. And when they sit with him, they can tell he knows what he's talking about. He made them better. These guys had a lot of success in the spring, and they know that we're going to push them even harder in the fall.
Real quick, before I answer this, Michael Andres, appreciate you for the $4.99. Says housing prices pushing recruit families north. South Florida ain't sustainable. Too middle class family. So recruiting has and will continue to shift to Central Florida. My gosh, thank you for that. I may be wrong. I didn't do a census on this, but thank you for that, Michael Andres. I'm gonna get back to what Coach Cristobal just said in his response. I believe Georgia always had very good football. But I guarantee, I'm not saying the Power 5 players, but Georgia football, it looks so much better. But I'm going to tell you what I think. I may be wrong. This might be Coach Hayes' Miami bias. A lot of South Florida families moved to Georgia, right? Early 2000s for the housing. Housing was cheaper, blah, blah, blah. Opportunity was more abundant. And we are now starting to see the offspring of these kids. Families in Miami can't afford to pay the taxes in the crib they live in. That big mama left them. Nana done passed on to see the Lord. And we can't afford to pay the taxes to stay in Big Mama house. Now Atlanta has caught up when it comes to the housing market. I went to Atlanta one time. The house was so nice and so cheap. I asked for 2 of them on my debit card. Can I get 2 on one debit card? Tales of a father. There you go. Facts, Coach. My family did the same thing in 2003. The housing market in Atlanta, in the suburban areas, the McDonald's, and all those places around Atlanta was cheaper. They were cheaper. So guess what? People took what they had, they sold their house down here and dipped. Guess why else Atlanta got better? Because of the hurricane. Hurricane Katrina. A lot of the Louisiana people, New Orleans folks, migrated to what? Atlanta and Houston. These are now the offspring of those kids. So when you start looking at the Atlanta area getting better in football and things got more expensive because more people flooded it. I remember back in the day driving to Georgia. I was a little kid. My uncle used to stop. He only got gas. He got just enough gas because you drive from Miami to about Live Oak on the turnpike, you got to get gas. he would get just enough gas to get to the Georgia state line because it was 99 cents a gallon. Now it don't matter. Fill that dang thing up and let's ride. See, these are the things a lot of people don't really realize or didn't see. But anyway, let me go back to what I was saying. Appreciate that comment, man. Thank you. 365 people in the building. Appreciate you. So Coach Cristobal, what he was talking about running the ball, that's interesting. Could he possibly be blowing smoke? Potentially. I believe the consensus thought is that he has to have control. The question is, will he let Coach Shannon Dawson have complete autonomy of the offense? Here lies a question. For me, it's all speculation. I don't know if that was a deal between him and Coach Josh Gaddis and there were a bumping of heads. I don't know. I'm only speculating. I wasn't in those meetings. And I probably could call somebody and ask them, and they would tell me. But I'm not in that business. I don't care. I care about W's and L's. That's it. How you get it done is how you get it done. How you do anything, how you do everything, whatever. How you get it done is how you get it done. You got to run your mama over there to get a W, then guess what? Strap up, OG, and give her one. Get some. All I know is at the end of the day, maybe Shannon Dawson is just talking that. I don't know. Again, this guy doesn't care. At the end of the day, I want to see a W up on that schedule. A W. Not a W, a W. So Shannon Dawson is coming with air raid, spread raid, power raid, Gator raid. Raid, I don't care. Get it done. That's all I want. Same thing for Lance Guidry. Last piece of this, and I'll throw the phone number up now if you want to, just so you guys can pile in. I want to have fun with this, have talks about these conversations. And I know everybody want to talk about the latest commit we have and all that. I don't want to talk about that right now, if you don't mind. I get it. I heard he a thumper. I got to make his tape. I have not looked at it. I just want to go through this because I think this is a great interview. It discloses a lot. Let me get to let me get to this last section here in regards to community relations. And he's talking about having maybe some of the kids on campus. I kind of talked about that. But I think for Miami, let me kind of preface this a little bit. Miami can't do the old status quo community relations. We're not the same. We are not a school who whole family went there because they went there. Right? I grew up going to Kentucky. Excuse me. I went to Kentucky. The whole family going to Kentucky, UK, Tennessee. We all went to UT, Knoxville. The whole family going to UT, Knoxville. I'll be surprised if it's 10 people in this chat that went to the university. Do me a favor. Put a thumbs up if you attended and graduated from the University of Miami. Let me get a thumbs up in the chat. 366 people in the building right now. Give me a thumbs up if you attended and graduated from the University of Miami. I got to put a thumbs down. I only been there because of football camps, and I love the U. I ain't been there for no other reason but football stuff. Anyway, last piece right here, community relations. J Love, I see you back there, baby. Hold tight for me.
For football, I love football because I love football. That's my football why. People have their why. I love everything about it. The discipline, the toughness, the way it'll knock you back, knock you down, and make you like really get back up and really go forward and have the support of your team sometimes and sometimes not. Sometimes you got to figure it out on your own. So I'm all about it. I'm all about the life-changing opportunity that it is for these guys. And it really is. And if I wish you could come with me today as we go into the inner city with about 50 players and we coach and host these camps, because you're going to see at least 50 superstars, 50 future NFL superstars out there that they don't look 6 and 7 years old. You know, they're moving fast and they're playing strong, and the pride in the community. Well, man, this is where I was born and raised. Okay, this is not just a shirt that, you know, hey, this is the next job, and here's a shirt you got to wear when you're on camera. This thing is in the blood, and is that part of the motivation? Oh, hell yeah, it always will be. But there's everything to work about, and there's not much to talk about as it relates to that. We got to go to work, and every day we change things in a positive manner, a little bit more and more. So anyways, that's another tangent for you right there. But today, grassroots recruiting, I want those guys when they're this tall. We're in hurricane gear, so when they're this tall, I gotta do all these official visits, man. They just come right over.
Come on up here. What was funny is you guys had a building full of young kids in here yesterday, all the way from like first grade to sixth grade. And right as you were walking down that staircase, you said, "Hey, the first grader's okay, but there's some fifth graders down there. Have you seen that fifth grader over there?" And it's funny how, I mean, I'm looking at you and I'm kind of laughing, and you do have a smile on your face, but it's one of those serious smiles where, no, you can tell that kid right there is going to be good. It's going to be like half a decade from now before he's ever on our radar, able to visit here. But it's funny how you can see some of that stuff really early on, because there were some legitimate, like, elementary school, middle school athletes in here yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Down here, football is life. It is. You know, you talked to Shannon Dawson, and I'm glad you did. And I'll tell you why. It's like Miami with an exciting offense is a really powerful thing and a powerful brand. There are so many unbelievable athletes down here, and they've been screaming for this for a long, long time. And that's why Shannon and that hire is so important. He brings that explosive offense and the details that go with it, while at the same time having the NFL development aspect that goes with that, so that guys know, hey, I'm just not in a high octane college offense. I'm in an offense that's going to teach me professional concepts and help me develop. And the amount of momentum and excitement that is stirring up and will stir up as we get better and better, and we got to prove it on the field, and the confidence that you build with that, the trust you build with that. I mean, that's very powerful. I'm glad you got to sit in there with him. I mean, that.
All right, that's neither here nor there. Big point he just made. I love the fact they're bringing the players to the facility. That's part of what you need to be doing for the community. Like he said, yeah, I see those first graders, but look at this fifth grader. Bruh, check me out. Check me out. Golden Girls. Follow me. You know, that's my guilty pleasure. I like watching Golden Girls. Remember Sophia, the mom, the old mom? Picture it, Sicily, 1965. Remember she used to say that? Picture it, Miami, 2023. A fifth grader from Holmes Elementary, which feeds into Miami Northwestern, sees for the next 3 years at that time or whatever, Cam Kitchen, All-American, on a billboard over his school every day when he goes to recess. And that same jit is balling his behind off. How easy is it for him to sign over? You think he's going to sign because he came to one camp? But every day I get reminded, looking over the billboard, I'm looking down at them shorties like, yeah, baby, I came from Holmes Elementary. How about this? Ray Joseph went to Edison right there in Little Haiti, baby. Huh? Right off of 95. Billboard. Right there. Ray Joseph. Bobby Washington. Robbie Washington. Bashard Smith. You can save some money. Put all of them on the same billboard. Xavier Restrepo up there in Broad. Where he went to Carnegie? I don't know where he went to school. And that's a shame. I should know. Reuben Bain on 95th Street. 95th Street. Reuben Bain. Reuben Hurricane Bain on 95th Street. The Rock Boys are back. Man, y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. I'm telling you. That's community relation. Having a camp come to the school, hey, that's cute. I had Ruben Bain ass on whatever bus go down 95th Street. He'll be on that bus, on the side of that bus, like I went to the U. Everybody caught the 83 before, especially if you're from Carroll City. You done been on the 83 bus. You know that thing take you from Miami Lakes to 163rd Street Mall. Well, guess who's going to be on there? Any player that came out of American, never mind, but came out of Carroll City, New Orleans, North Miami Beach, whatever. If you're on the north side of the town, guess what? You're going to be on that bus going down to 83. Now you put that in these kids' head every day. Every day. Think about it. Coach Coop, I may be wrong, Coop. Coop became a fan. I may be wrong. He saw a game and he liked the colors. That's awesome. I may be wrong, Coop. Slap me if I'm wrong. But you never know what gets people to become something. That's what my point is. That's my whole point. You never know what sparks somebody. So imagine when J Love T, I'm just going to use him for example. I see him in the back here. J Love T is right now in 5th grade at Holmes Elementary. He become a baller for the Hurricanes. And in his Hall of Fame speech, he says, I became a Cane fan because I looked up every day at recess and I saw Cam Kitchens, AP All-American from the same neighborhood as me. And I said, I could do that. Because part of Mario Cristobal's conditions to come here was budgeting and itemizing everything for the long term. Hear what I said? The long term. And his contract is what, 10 years? A 5th grader will be a recruit by the time his contract up. Somebody say, great idea. Thank you. Hold up. Wait a minute. David Anthony says, great idea and concept, coach. Well, hell, I ain't in the marketing department. Where's the marketing team at? Dan Radakovich, you the AD. I guarantee you came from Clemson. If you go to Clemson, South Carolina, it ain't no Clemson stuff all over the city. I told you, my mother lived in Cooper City, Florida, dog. Cooper City, down the street from Caneswear. I found Caneswear by accident because I was looking for a shirt from the University of Miami to do a show in Miami, or Cooper City really, at that time, and I left my shirt in Orlando. I went to Walmart, couldn't find one. I went to Target, couldn't find one. I'm like, dang, guess what street I'm going up? 27th Avenue, a.k.a. University. I'm going up, getting ready to go to Broward Mall, and I happened to stop at a light, and I looked to my left, and I seen Caneswear. Great. But guess what's in that same Target? Guess what's in that Walmart on 27th Avenue in Sterling? Cooper City High School gear. God damn it. Cooper City High School gear is in the Target more than the University of Miami stuff? Somebody slap me. Cooper City High School got more gear inside of Target than the University of Miami does. And Caneswear down the street. I love Caneswear, but damn it, this shirt was $80. I can't do this. Y'all be like, coach, I wear the same 5 shirts all the time because I can't afford it. I ain't finna give Caneswear everything. Why I can't go pick up a $15 shirt, $20 t-shirt? Look that. Anyway, coach feeling it. I'm loving it. J Love, I see you back there. I'm coming right now. Let me get a couple of these comments, then I'm going to get you. Victoria in the building. My dad taught my sisters and I the history of football programs since I was a baby, which made me a fan of the U as well, but also motivated to go to the school for sports medicine. That's beautiful. Ms. Wilcox said, you wrong, coach, and let's talk about it. I would definitely talk about it, Ms. Wilcox. Let's do it. You know, you the oracle. Child Dude 30. Great show, coach. I'm a proud University of Miami graduate. I majored in international finance and marketing. Come on, marketer. Loving it. I received an academic scholarship. The U made it possible for me to move from OL. I don't know what that is. I guess Opalaka, excuse me. We got to win first, coach, and it's coming. No, you don't have to win. You want to know why you don't have to win? You know why you don't have to win? Because what happens when you don't win? Do you give up your philosophy and your principles? No. So I hear what you're saying, and I appreciate what you're saying. SP1 Warrell. Spun, I guess I've said it right. No, you don't have to win. You have to believe. You got to put it out there. I guarantee I can go to damn Vanderbilt. They ain't won a dang thing. I guarantee they got some Vanderbilt stuff in Walmart. Cooper City ain't won nothing, and they got shirts in Target. So I feel you. I appreciate you, but I disagree respectfully because winning is a part of what you're doing. It's not all of what you're doing. It's a part of what you're doing. It's a part of the process. Making a brand. I guarantee this. Go ask, do me a favor. Next time you go to work, ask one of your coworkers, say, coworker, are you a Miami Hurricane fan? Yeah, I love the U. Can you name me the last All-American from the University of Miami? I told you, I didn't go to Carroll City Senior High School. Grew up in Carroll City. Never went to Carroll City. Probably been inside the school twice. But I know in 1977, they won the water polo championship. You want to know how I know? Guess how I know? Because on the old school, it used to be on the side of the building. Because I passed it on 183rd Street every day, especially when your boy stopped by that Popeyes over there. That's how I know, because it's advertised. My last statement, and J Love, I'm coming to you. I know I keep lying to you, but I love you. McDonald's doesn't have to advertise, but why do they still do it? Because they want to put it in your face that, dang it, we got the Big Mac. And it got special sauce, all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese on a sesame seed bun. How do I know that? Because they throw it in my face every day. Because they're building a brand. We ain't got a brand to the nation, but brand to your people. That's all I'm saying. J Love, talk to me, baby.
What's up, bro? Happy Sunday, Coach Hayes, man.
Thank you, man. How you doing, man?
Bless. It's interview time. I'm interviewing now, Coach Hayes, man. Buckle your seatbelt, bro.
Well, you're the only one on the line, so I ain't got nothing but time. Talk to me. When I put the timer up, then that'll let you know some other people jumped in the background. So go for
it. Say less. What Mario said, right? He said he wanna run through you, go around you, or go over the top. What does he need to do right now with what the roster look? Because I hope he's not trying to overcomplicate things like they were claiming they would do this year. So what did you take out of that? And what do you think needs to be done to not be overcomplicated so we don't hear excuses in August, September, October, November, December?
Be honest with you, you got to use our weapons. Our backfield is not our weapons right now.
Thank you.
Let's be honest with you. Our weapons is Brashard Smith, Xavier Restrepo. We could definitely take some shots with. I think Kobe Young is a mid player. What do I mean? He's a 20 to 30 yard player, midfield, post balls. Jacoby George can stretch, so forth and so on. But the bread and butter, I believe, in your team is your speed. The Brashard Smith, the Ray Joseph, the Bobby Washingtons, those type of guys. Get the ball out your hand quickly, right? Because the faster you get it out your hand is the faster those guys can make plays. Now, does that mean each and every play got to be dink and dunk? No. But Tom Brady is going down as the greatest quarterback of all time. And guess what his average distance of throwing a football is?
5 yards, maybe.
I think it's 9.6. That's the average of his yards per throw. Hell, let's pull it up. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to be
one-dimensional.
No, you don't have to throw the ball. You don't have to throw the ball 1,000 yards. Like, you don't have to throw an 80-yard pass to get 80 yards passing. I can give you a 2-yard slant, and you take that jump and make it happen.
Say less.
All right, here we go. Hold on. Hey, his average in yards, not yards per game. How do I figure out what his average? Here we go. Hell, his average is 7.4 yards.
So we were in the middle. That's what I'm saying. Because when I heard that, Coach Hayes, I'm like, oh my God, here we go again.
His highest average. Yeah, his highest average. I'm just glancing over this quickly. His highest average was in 2011. No, I apologize. No. Coach Hayes lying. His highest average. I'm trying to get all his years up here.
How did the Randy Moss year?
2011, 8.6 yards.
So not even in the Randy Moss year?
I don't know. When was Randy Moss year? I don't know.
Let me pull that up for you right now.
Hell, this dude done won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, and his highest was 7.6, 7.4, 6.4.
Moss played with New England 2010 through 2007 to 2010.
Okay. So you said 10. It wasn't even in. 8.3, 6.9, 7.8, 7.9. When Randy Moss left, it was 8.6 in 2011. So all I'm saying is that let's take what the offense give us. Let's use our athletes. But again, I don't want to get into, I'm answering your question, but back to this.
Yeah.
Coach Hayes doesn't care. Get it done.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I answered your question for me, my personal philosophy, but I'm not making $8 million a year. Get it done.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking. I don't care how you get it done.
All right. Second question, right? This is not a film breakdown, right? This is just like my thoughts. Can we please, if we're going to the portal, can we get guys that can help us day one? I hope this guy is just not a body. I'm not quick to judge. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's getting pushed out. But it's a huge war on Twitter right now, and it's valid.
I don't know who the guy is.
That can help you.
When is he committed? When did he commit? When did he commit? Who is this?
KJ. I don't want to bother the gentleman's name already. KJ Floyd, linebacker from Louisville.
KJ who?
KJ from Louisville.
Cloyd. I don't know. Literally, he must have committed while I've been on this show.
Yeah, he committed on your show. That's my thing. If he can help us day one, I'm down with it. If he's just a body, a depth, oh my God.
Here's what I always ask, and I got to get ready to move on because I got people calling. Here's what I always ask. My first question. This is my very first question.
Talk to him.
Why are you transferring?
Yes.
That's my only question. Why are you transferring? I don't know that because I didn't get a chance to speak to the gentleman. That's my very first question is, why are you transferring? 1. 2, you're transferring from Louisville. Same conference, same kind of caliber. I'm not saying he won't help us. I'm not saying he's not a day one. Is he better than Wesley Basaint? I don't know. I haven't seen his film. I don't know. He may have a legitimate reason for transferring. I don't know. I literally just, you brought up his name. I didn't know who he was. So I had to do some investigating. Okay. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, these transfers, again, fan bases get so caught up. Oh, we got this guy transferred from Louisville. He's 6'2", 215 pounds. He's from Columbia, Mississippi. He's going to come in. He's a killer. And then we Zach McCloud his ass.
Yeah.
That's
all I'm saying.
He sucks.
That's all.
Other than that, I don't know. Somebody says graduate transfer, coach. Okay, great. That doesn't mean you should transfer just because you graduated. I mean, he's a graduate transfer, meaning it doesn't cost us anything. It doesn't cost him anything, but that doesn't mean that's why you transfer. Because guess what? We got people
who come to pick someone's spot. That's all I'm
right. What I'm saying is we got graduate transfers at Miami that stayed. Just because you graduate, it's not like, oh, he's a graduate transfer, you got to find somewhere to go. If he's a graduate transfer and he doesn't have significant playing time, let's find out. Let's see what his contribution to Louisville was. I'm just talking about these are very simple things that you can look at. All right. KJ Cloyd, stats and news. Let's see how he contributed to Louisville. Okay, here we go. 2020. He had 12 tackles, 6 solos, 6 assists. 21, he had 12 tackles, 7 and 5. And 22, he had 15 tackles, 9 and 6. So he didn't contribute a lot. So he's a grad transfer, meaning what? Just based on that, not doing any deep dive, just looking at this at the surface. He's a guy that can transfer out. He didn't get any playing time at Louisville. So I'm a transfer and hopefully I can contribute to Miami. Is he a day one starter? I don't think so. You literally, in 3 years of being there, you have 39 full tackles. Total tackles. You have 17 assisted tackles, 21 solo tackles. Just looking at it at the surface, how can he help the University of Miami get better? Besides depth.
Yeah, eating free lunch. Okay, all right.
I'm just looking, and again, Coach Hayes is only looking at that at the surface. I just learned the guy's name. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like, for example, I'm looking here.
My thing, Coach. Why are we recruiting freshmen? That's my issue. Why are we recruiting freshmen in the first place? Why? That's their job, is to develop. That's the only thing I don't like the approach. That's why I want impact players. You don't have to be a day one starter, but are you an impact player? If not, you build with the true freshmen.
I'm with you.
I have a good one, Coach Hayes, man.
So hold on, before you go, real quick, J Love. He played against UCF. He had 3 tackles, 1 solo, 2 assisted. These are his tackles. UVA, he had 1 tackle, 1 solo. Wake Forest, he had 1 tackle, which was 1 solo. James Madison, 2 tackles, which were 2 assisted. And then North Carolina State, he had 4 total tackles, 3 solos, and 1 assisted. So that is his contribution to college football. He is 6'2", 229 right now.
Oh my God.
So that's where we are. J-Love, appreciate you. Let me get to the next one. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, I got to get my hand out here. You know who coming up here next. Long snapping preacher.
What's up, Coach?
Had to slap that face. Talk to me, baby. What's up?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna come on here and ask you again. We need some long snapping WREs, yes, sir. But secondly, can you hear me, Coach?
I can hear you, brother.
Okay. Secondly, I just because I want to ask you, where do you think Miami can win the division? I mean, because I'm looking at the Coastal, and I don't know how long the ACC is going to stay together for.
They're getting rid of that.
They'll stay together.
They're getting rid of that Coastal and stuff. They're getting rid of that stuff. It's going to be just an ACC champion.
When are they? Well, do you think that Miami could be second place in the ACC and play for their conference championship within the next 3 years?
I do believe that.
Because
yes.
I sent you that blue chip ratio. They have talent. I think they have the most talent in the ACT according to that. Besides, if you put Notre Dame in there. But where do you see Miami in 3 years?
I'm telling you, it's all based on his supporting cast. That's Mario Cristobal can't coach everything. See, we like to say everything is the head coach, and true indeed it is. At the end of the day, it rises and falls. I got to put you on the timer because I got other people calling. At the end of the day, it rises and falls with the head coach. But he's not coaching everything. Where he does take the blame and the praise is based on who he hires. Like he said, those football junkies. If he hires, let's say he takes long snapping Preacher right now, and you go in there and wow him, but you ain't really down for the grind, dog. You ain't really down for it. Guess what happens? Guess what happens? You stop giving your all. You stop. Because you're like, man, bro, this is ridiculous. I can't see my wife. You gonna do that in front of my kids, dog? Like, what I'm saying is, so see, everybody's passion is not everybody's passion. What do I mean? What I love, like, for example, my family loves me. I believe that with my whole heart. My family loves me. But I would be a fool to believe that my family sit up here and watch every one of my shows. Because they don't have the same passion for it like I have. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
When I first started, man, they used to be in the comment section. What's up, cuz? Man, I can't find they behinds now. Why? Because they don't have the same passion I have for it. Hayes, how can you sit on there and talk for 3-4 hours? How can you do an 8-hour show? What is wrong with you? You know what they'll tell me? Hey, cuz, did you catch the show? Yeah, I saw some of it. Because it's not their passion. And I get it. So some people love football, but they ain't in love. They infatuated football, but they ain't in love with it. It's a difference. Mario Cristobal is in love with it. And he's got to find people that's in love with it. And until he finds those people like an Alex Mirabal, who's in love with what he's doing, believe and trust in him, success is going to be super hard, dog. I promise you. I don't care how good of a talent you have. Because people are people and people will check out. And you heard what he said. You heard what he said. If you don't do it, if you think that way, I don't think in that world. If you do, you got to go, whether it is at this program or any program.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for letting me call in, Coach. You know, may Jesus Christ be with you and everybody watching. And you know, God bless you. And just keep doing what you're doing. I'll be looking out for those long snapping WREs, though, for sure.
Well, you'll be blind by the time you catch those, man. All right, we go to our next call. Let me take a couple of these before I get to my man E. Brown. Lord have mercy. I ain't even going to play this scrub. But anyway, again, I don't know this gentleman, KJ Cloyd. I'm looking at his stuff right now. What I said about him was strictly off of what I saw. Y'all saw it live in color. I just simply analyzed his production. He's a graduate transfer. He seems to be a journeyman. That's not a knock, just what it is. He's 6'2", 229. He has the good size. Can he play? I don't know. I don't know. There you go, baby Shaq. 149 people watching, but only 179 likes. Because 179 people are they in love with it like I'm in love with it. The other people, they just watching. They like this. They ain't got that grind in them. It ain't no different than YouTube. You know how many people start a YouTube channel and break out the first month, the first 3 months? Man, I ain't know it would take all this. I ain't know it. Well, why I don't have 30,000 subscribers? Because you ain't putting in the work. You ain't putting in the time. You ain't putting in the effort, the energy. You ain't embracing the grind. In the words of E.T. Thomas, the hip-hop preacher, everybody want to be a beast until it's time to do what a beast do. But when it comes to coaching, those guys have contracts. So once you hire me and I sign the contract, you sign the contract, whether you fire me or not, you got to pay me out. And that's the business behind a lot of this stuff. So the problem is, again, in that interview, he also talked about, and I believe he was talking about Josh Gaddis. I may be wrong, but he did make a mention in regards to letting people have an opportunity to find a job somewhere else. And I believe that's what he did with Josh Gaddis. So he has a heart. But what I'm saying is, everybody can't embrace the grind, dog. Finally, my son agree with me. You slap my son just because he mine. Get your behind out of here. Should be getting ready for bed. Got school in the morning. You know you failed the dog on 5th grade. Get out of here. E. Brown, brother, talk to me.
Hey, good evening, Coach.
How you doing, brother, man?
I just want to say this, Coach.
Yes, sir.
You're finally getting the message, and you're finally getting the message out there. Okay.
Okay.
You're finally not having this nerd talk and this scrub talk on the channel. We need to hold people freaking accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were saying, hey, the last All-American we had, by the way, was in 2005. Okay. 2005 was the last time we had an All-American with the University of Miami.
Did you have to look that up?
Brandon,
be honest, did you have to look that up?
No. I'm a Brandon Merriweather fan. I know Brandon Merriweather was the last University of Miami All-American. Okay, he was one of the last. I think it was about 2 or 3 of them that year. He was one of them.
Damn, Duke didn't make All-American? Duke won the All-American?
Brandon Merriweather.
Wow.
But
okay.
But you know, and you talked a couple of points. You brought up the Dawson Air Raid. Hey, listen, the Dawson Air Raid would have been perfect for last year's team, because last year's team consisted of air raid type players on our team. This year, I have absolutely no idea what we have. Nobody does. Nobody knows what we have. So we have to sit there and listen to Mario with the rah-rah. Let's run them here, run them there, run them up the middle talk. Hey, we got to do it. We got to do it until we get out of the scrub environment. What do you mean by scrub environment? I'm gonna say it one more time. You got to stop winning 4 and 5 freaking football games.
Agreed.
Okay? 4 and 5 freaking football games means that we're in the scrub environment.
Action.
All right. Now,
Action.
Performance, man. You can sit there and talk all you want and what have you. Performance on the field is what's going to bring about a change. The other thing is, hey, we got Josh Pate interviewing the coach. Let me tell you, why hadn't the coach call your show or some of the other shows so we could sit down as fans, as the real fans of the University of Miami? We could sit down as the real fans of the University of Miami and pose some of these questions and let them know exactly how we feel. Why isn't the coach or Mirabal, you call him the coach's dog? That's what we need, dogs. How come his dog's not on your television show so where we can sit there and talk to him and ask him, hey, listen, are we going to win more than 5 games? Because you know what? I'm already checked out with these guys, man. I'm checked out with them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm checked out with them. If they can't win football games, we don't need to have them around. I'm not going to listen to that crap about, well, we can't get kids into school because the property taxes are high. Man, that's a bunch of those excuses, man.
I don't think they were talking about. Hold on, but I don't think they're talking about getting them into school. They were talking about kids are moving out of South Florida because of that kind of, like, people move all the time because of that stuff. But go ahead, finish your point.
I'm serious. These guys, these coaches, that marketing team you were talking about, you're absolutely correct. That marketing team you're talking about, absolutely correct. Why don't we see the University of Miami being marketed in the community where the fans are? The fans are not attending the University of Miami. They're not. The fans are on your show and some of the other podcast shows. That's where the fans are. The true fans are. How come our guys can go to Josh Pate, but they can't go to you? They can't go to some of these other guys so they can talk to the real fans. Not those guys who show up and get the $500, $6,000 box seats. Those are not the real fans. Those are the pontificators. Okay, that's what I call pontification. In short terms, those are the bull essers.
I got you.
I don't want to curse, but
I got
those are the bull essers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and here we are as true fans, talking with the amount of passion that you just came with it tonight. We're talking about true fans, talking about the amount of passion for a team that won 5 freaking football games last year. 5 games, and we went toe to toe with freaking Virginia, with the Virginia Cavaliers. 5 freaking games, guys. 5 freaking games that we won. Let's stop talking about 5 stars and the transfer portal and all that other crap, because the transfer portal, like the guy you were just talking about. How in the world are we going to sign a guy who for the last 3 or 4 years, the freaking guy that made 15 tackles? You give him 30 tackles, I'm giving him 15 tackles. What did he start? Heck no. Heck no, he's not starting. Hey man, I'm telling you, the transfer portal is for scrubs, man.
All right, Ebron, I love you. Hey, Ebron, also,
okay.
I appreciate you and my man staying on the other night. Had a great one. Unfortunately, the system kicked us off. But do me a favor, man, before this thing, I don't know if you want to stay in the background now. I need to holler at you anyway, as well as Reggie. Okay, so I don't know if you want to call back before the show ends or whatever, just so I can talk to you or whatever the case may be. But I'll need to holler at you.
Gotcha.
All right, brother.
All right,
let me go to the next one. 4922 coming up next. Caller, talk to us. Give us your name, where you calling from. 4922, wake up. Sleep at the wheel. Get up.
My bad, Coach.
It's all good. Talk to us.
Coach, I ain't gonna lie, I don't like the way we're recruiting right now, man, at all.
Okay.
And I don't like the portal. I don't agree with it. I feel like we got enough players on the team to do what they got. What we need done, basically.
Okay.
That's the reason why we recruited them in the first place. Everybody in the country running these kids. I don't get why we got to go after a guy that got 30 tackles in 4 years. It don't make sense. We're wasting a roster spot. What you think about it?
Again, right, I had to be honest. We can look at that for different ways. I don't know all of the true details. He's from Columbia, Mississippi, so it's not like it's a hometown kid kind of coming back home. Why they look at him, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to give a true and significant answer. I literally just heard this name while I've been on the show live. I just pulled up his stats and I just looked at it off the, as they say, you can't read a book by its cover. Well, I'm looking at it by the cover. I haven't had a chance to really okay, who is KJ Cloyd? What did he do? What does he bring to the table? I mean, he's 6'2", 230, bro. So he passed the eyeball test, right? He got a blue chip when it comes to linebacker status, when it comes to size.
Right.
Now, is he fast? Is he slow? Can he play? What does he do? What does he bring to the table? I have no clue.
Right. So maybe because he had a relationship with the coach. The coach came from Louisville, I believe. So I don't know.
Maybe so.
That's what I was thinking.
And again, a lot of that takes place, bro. A lot of that takes place because they're trying to say, I don't know how the war room looks at Miami. What do I mean? Like on the board, they may say, look, you got one linebacker spot available. We're about to close this thing down. If you got a linebacker that you want to bring in, now is the time to get the guy, blah, blah, blah. And that's maybe what they did. I don't know why he got there. We can only assume, maybe not. Maybe there's an injury that we don't know about that hasn't been disclosed from other players that's out there, that maybe somebody tweaked something or maybe somebody's not going to get clipped. There's so many variables that we don't know to why things are why they are. And I'm back to this. I used to say it. I stopped saying it, but I don't know why, but I'm saying it now. Hashtag, in Mario, we trust. If we pay this dude $80 million.
Of course.
He got to get it done.
Right.
He got to get it done. But I appreciate you, brother. I think I'm about to get an earful right here from my next caller. So let me go ahead and make it happen. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Who's the next caller? What's her name?
Miss Wilcox, the Oracle. I believe it's her. She told me I was wrong, so she's about to give me an earful.
Okay, go ahead. I want to hear Miss Wilcox. Go ahead.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. Thanks a lot, bro.
Yeah. Likewise, Coach.
Yes, sir. Hello?
Let's get to the obvious.
Hold
You're
up.
wrong.
Hold up. You know I got to give you a hold up.
Let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. We're all here to do what we're all here to do. Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it. I thought you'd have figured that out by now.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Oracle. She told me I'm wrong, and she said, let's get the obvious out the way. So coach is attentive. Miss Wilcox, a.k.a. the Oracle, the floor is yours.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay. You finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything you need to say to me?
No, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Okay, let's go at it because you're wrong. Number one, he's not Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders was on time to change everybody who wanted to go. The contract was the problem. The money is the problem. So y'all forget there was another coach before him. So he didn't have time to come and do what he's doing now. Okay? Of course, we went 5-7 because he didn't have a chance to do what Deion Sanders had to do, and we had another coach. Not only that, we had a rotten potato, and we had a steel potato, but he got called back home because I keep telling y'all in a triangle with Georgia and Alabama. Alabama's always been in your pocket. He let you know he grabbed even a coach or a player. Wake up to reality. Your coach was one of his coach. You got somebody got their foot on your neck. You got to wait to move, to shuffle, and a time to move. That's what that well does. It's going to turn the ship over, and it's going to make its move. Give him time.
Sure.
He had to go through this. We had to go through this because, number one, we had another coach was sitting there. They couldn't move him, and Mario took over the money. Y'all forget there was a contract coming in there with the money of the kids getting paid now, NIL.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I keep telling you, a lot of other places don't have one. That's why the Federal Trade Commission gonna come in because you can't hold on to them because other coaches are lying on your university.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
lying on Mario. And you all got to sit back and say, if you want something to move and go forward, fuck the past. Excuse me, forget about the past. You all got to have that motion to go forward and be with that coach. Because guess what? It's a new day, new ground, and I'm out.
But I have a question, Ms. Wilcox. She hung up on me. I'm coming to you right here, 8963. Give me a second. I've been verbally and intellectually corrected, but I don't know what I was wrong about. By Miss Wilcox. I don't know how to respond. I'm not sure what I was wrong about. I never blamed. Well, I did blame Cristobal about Middle Tennessee. There's no way in the world. Our kids should have been. I'm sorry. Shout out to Wholesome One. Our players should have been able to call their own plays to beat Middle Tennessee. But other than that, yeah, he needs some time, but we also need some action. Because back to the preacher man, I'm coming to you. Don't hang up on me, 8963. But back to the preacher, long snapping preacher. we still, talent for talent, have better people on our roster. Right? I don't care about all of that, culture or whatever. I get all that. But some games we shouldn't lose. I'm sorry. That's just where I am. 8963, caller, talk to us. Give us your name, where you calling from. You the last caller for the night, and we out of here.
My man, I'm still laughing. She done dropped the mic on everybody.
All I'm telling you is, listen, hold up. One thing about the Oracle, you better respect it, because one thing you may not get it today, you'll get it tomorrow at the red light. But I promise you,
Yes, sir.
I promise you. No, you better start laughing. I'm telling you, she for real now. She brought up whales and dolphins before anybody else, and now they coming out now talking about Mario Cristobal here, big whale hunting. Y'all be playing. I believe in them. So I just want to say that you the last caller of the night. Hold on real quick, if you don't mind. Yeah, man, you the last caller of the night.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, so go ahead, speak your part, and hold on one second. All right, go ahead, talk to us.
All right, so just two quick things. Number one, somebody was talking about why don't y'all and all these other programs have Mario on. Josh Pate and that program, don't get me wrong, they did to me, that program and that interview that he did was amazing. But they pay to come down here. It's not something that the university, if I'm not mistaken, pays to have them come down here. So they do that on their own dime. And I thought they did a bang-up job, and I thought that interview was great, and they have the little side things with him having Cuban coffee and all that. Mm-hmm. And I thought that he did a really good job. Number two, as far as this new guy who just committed, I think it's no different from getting a grad transfer quarterback to come in just as an insurance policy. So I don't think it's really that big a thing. And he's from under Nicholson from before. And I think it's just somebody who he's comfortable with. And I think that he knows that he's somebody he can count on when all else fails. And that's really it. I got all kind of other stuff we can kind of cut up about, but I know you got.
No, you're the only one. You're the last one. So let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
Somebody, $10 from Knox Kane 94. Thank you so much for that ladies donation. Maybe I missed it somewhere. I just see it pop up down here at the bottom. I will say this, and maybe because I'm one of these YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch more YouTube. I don't even have television. I have Netflix and Hulu. I don't even have Hulu no more because they stopped paying for it. I have Netflix and YouTube, really. I don't even watch regular television because I just don't have the time. But that's neither here nor there. I will say this, to E. Brown's point, and maybe I'm in my feelings. It would be nice if the University of Miami staff even acknowledge the podcast community or YouTube community. Sure. I'm going to tell you why I say that. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm going to tell you why I say that. Because even though we're the University of Miami, Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State, Clemson, I don't think no other university has as many people giving their time to an institution to cover them.
Okay. And I'll double down on that. I'll say there's not as many people that are in such a diverse area of the country that tune into y'all's shows for such a school as a small private school that has so many eyes on it from people who are, I mean, you look at some of the shows, you got people tuning into whether it's yours or Flow, whoever shows. I mean, there's people from, over the pond across the Pacific that are tuning in.
Correct.
So, I mean, you got people from all over the place. So,
correct. Now, I will say this.
I completely get what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree with this. And here's back to the fan base. LP says Mario was on Flow Show last year. I believe it was Sebastian and Lane with those guys, with a roster edit, if I'm not mistaken. And it didn't blow up. That's a shame. That's a crime. Yep. But again, it goes to show you, why didn't that blow up? Listen, I want people to understand why things don't do things. Let's say, for example, not taking the big conglomerates like 247, On3, ESPN, Fox Sports, and so on. Let's take the grassroots guys, the YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Cristobal was on that show. I watched that show. Great interview. He always does a great job. But bro, if you can find it, it did minimal numbers for the head man to be on a show. Minimal.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
My point is back to the fan base. Our fan base is such fair. Our fan base is such, but it is and it isn't. Our fan base is such fair weather that we haven't beaten the people across the head in the city of Miami with the University of Miami. Like, you understand?
And you know what? And it'll be the same thing if the Heat lose Game 5. People will talk about how we suck.
I agree.
Meanwhile, we made it. We made it all the way through this.
But to my point. But you're right. But you're 100% right. What I'm saying is, but that's also the same type of thing. I'm not asking that he do our shows, and what E. Brown said, I would have loved to have done that. Now, again, do I have the equipment to make it look as nice, and the camera and the crew and the finances? Probably not, right? Yeah. I get it. Like he said, he even prefaced on his show, I didn't want to do this thing in Zoom. I wanted to be face-to-face, and they got in the indoor facility. They have the resources to make that happen. That goes to show you what money can do. Because if Coach Hayes had that same resource, I go get that. I promise you. I go get that. 247 had to come see me. For sure. But that's neither here nor there. That's my confidence. That's that crib kicking in me. What I'm saying to one other point, real quick, is the whole 06 housing crisis when the market dropped. Mm-hmm. Man, everybody was running out of Florida. There's people in Tennessee, Nashville, Atlanta, Charlotte, everybody was running up out of there. So you have people who used to be down there who are now spread out all over the place, and that was something that was brought up. Right, and to your point, somebody right here, 352 says this video has 12,000. The video in which I was playing the clips from has 12,000 views from 2 days ago. That's still minor compared to what? I can't find the tape that Sebastian Lane did. I can't tell you what those numbers are because they don't it has the same thumbnail for all of them. I was trying to use it as a comparison for later on. But I was just basically saying that when he did come on, we didn't flood it. We should have. Yeah. Imagine if Nick Saban goes on to Touchdown Alabama, one of those podcasts. Ryan Day goes on to Buckeye Scoop.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
My boy from USC goes on Southern Cal.
Just a regular dude's podcast, and you like, damn, okay.
Yeah. But and that was a great interview, and Dave and Ross to kill it. So it was a great interview, and they were so hyped to have him on, and it was great. And to find out that it didn't hit like it should have is disappointing. And like I said, that's on us, man.
Yeah,
it's no different from when we play whoever.
But can I say something else? But can I say something else? I don't know this to be true. I'm just making an observation. Did every coach retweet that interview to help blow it up? Yeah. See, that's where you support your people. Josh Pate and 247 don't need that. They are a conglomerate. They are a juggernaut. But did everybody retweet that interview? Has nothing to do with a recruit, but did everybody retweet that interview to get as maximum exposure as possible? See, that's where you embrace the grind. That's when you embrace the community. Right, because Sebastian Lane, even if Sebastian Lane puts it on Twitter, that's as far as it goes because that's as far as their reach. Right. But if I go on Mario Cristobal's Twitter account, and I'm not blaming him, I'm just making an observation. And again, these are things that you overlook, but this is why you have a team. This is why you have a marketing team, right?
You're absolutely right.
If I go on Mario Cristobal's Twitter right now, if I had to spell his name right. Right? If I go on Mario Cristobal's Twitter right now, he has 123,000 followers.
They should have 1.5 million.
No, but what I'm saying is, did he retweet it? And again, I don't know if he runs his own Twitter account or not. Did Dennis Smith retweet it? Did all of the coaches retweet this interview to help what? To help the community. That's all I'm saying. It don't have to be Coach Hayes. It could be Footballville. It could be Miami Flow. It could be Coach Coop. I don't give a dang where he goes.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you get what I'm saying? Where you just, hey, let's do it. That's all I'm saying.
Spread the word. Spread the word. Make it a newspaper.
Bro, dog, think about how many people, and it's new people every day coming up with a Miami Hurricane YouTube channel.
That's right. That's right.
Every day.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong, Coach. And I see some stuff, and some guys are good, some guys aren't. But at the same time, spread the word, get it out there, and it's on all of us.
Look at that. Even Victoria said, "Yep, I didn't even know about the interview until tonight." J Love T said, "I didn't even know a local made that interview because again."
Yeah.
So
it was a good one. That was what? That was about this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a great interview, and Dave and Rasta, they ain't been on for a minute, but they do a bang up job with their recruiting and whatnot. But yeah, that was a great interview. But if you can pull those strings to get that to happen, and nobody follows it, you got nobody to blame but the fans ourselves. Because,
sure,
I'm like it's right there for you.
Yeah.
So. If you want to say why doesn't he come on these shows, he did, but nobody paid attention.
Yeah, and like I said, how they got him on there was great. I don't care how they got him on there; he was on there. But that interview should be one of the highest viewed Miami Hurricane YouTube videos because you finally got the head man on there, and he's talking legit. He's giving them the real. I watched the interview. It was awesome. The guys did a great job asking questions. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But, man, I'm about to get up out of here, man. Coach got a lot to do in a little bit of
Coach,
time, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Have a good night, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man. So, with all that, thank you. Hey, real quick, E. Brown and Reggie, I need y'all to call into the show. I don't know if you have the number. I got it locked.
The conference has been unlocked.
E. Brown and Reggie, I need y'all to call into the show right now. I'm not going to put you on, but I just need to hold you in the background for a second. If you guys are still listening, I'll give you a few minutes as I do this ending. As I end this show, thank you for everybody. Over 300 people hung out with us over the course of 2 hours and 23 minutes. Would be 2:25 by the time I get off. But with all that being said, I thank you all. I just wanted to deconstruct. This is the slow part of time. I'm going to make a video about all these recruits. I'm going to definitely find out who KJ Cloyd is, see what he's all about, and so forth and so on. The moral to the story of all of this is, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Yes, we have to give Coach Cristobal time to make this thing happen. But at the end of the day, we still need action. Coach Cristobal. There are some games that, as a fan base, we may not expect you to win. We want you to win. But there's also some games that we don't expect you to lose. Temple, Bethune-Cookman. Who else have we put? Miami, Ohio. Should not even be close. And I believe that's only fair from a fan base. Other than that, we can argue about should we won by more points or not. I'm cool with that. But there are some games that we definitely should win. And there's some games that we understand, Coach Cristobal, you got an uphill battle to fight that we just can't win right now. And I think we understand that as a fan base. We can't afford any more Middle Tennessee states. And we can't be in a field goal kickoff by Virginia. Even though a W is a W, I'm all for it. I get it. I understand. But I just want to make that clear. So I want to take this time to, like I say, deconstruct that. I appreciate everybody that hung out with us today. Hopefully I enlightened you, learned, or you caught something different to understand. I know that in order for the University of Miami to become elite, and that means always being in the national championship conversation, it takes everybody, because all of the national champions have never done it on their own. The community is involved, the next door neighbor, the person that lived close to the campus. Everybody is part of the winning process. It can't just be University of Miami football, two separate entities. And everybody has to come together, from the university to the community, to the players, the fans, the high school coaches. And there's nowhere in the world it should not happen, being literally in the Mecca of the lifeblood of football is the recruiting. So I say all that. Thank you all. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything that you've done. I appreciate all of you all. Catch us again every Sunday at 6:30. Until the season starts, we do our pre and post game. But for now, when you catch us at 6:30, hopefully me and Coach Coop can get on that joystick and Coach will try him out. I don't know. Coop going to whoop me to death. But anyway, go catch out all these other YouTubers. I think Miami Flow and them boys on right now. So going to get you something to drink, jump on in. And with all that being said, I thank you. I appreciate it. As always, it's all about the you and Coach Hayes will catch you at the 50-yard line. Peace. Somebody pass me my cane juice.